Dear students, this is the e-learning platform of Cambridge International School, Dasua. I am Kamaljeet Sharma, PGT Accountancy, teaching accountancy to the students for grade 11th and 12th in Cambridge International School. And this session is for the subject of accountancy for grade 11th commerce. Let's recap. Students, as you know, we have started chapter number 6, that is accounting procedures, rules of debit and credit, from your book Double Entry Bookkeeping by T.S. Garewal. In this chapter, you have learned about the traditional approach of rules for debit and credit and modern approach of rules of debit and credit. Today, we will start chapter number 7, that is origin of transaction, source documents and preparation of vouchers. I hope this session would help you to understand this chapter. In chapter number 7, which is origin of transaction, that is source documents and preparation of voucher, we will cover the topics source document, meaning of voucher, types of voucher in which source vouchers or supporting vouchers and accounting vouchers to be dealt. And the last one is preparation of vouchers. Let's start with source documents. It is a written document which contains details of the transactions prepared at the time it is entered into. It is also referred to as supporting document. It is of prime importance as in the books of accounts. Transactions are recorded on the basis of an evidence. This evidence, being the basis of recording entry, are known as source documents. For example, bills of purchases, invoices for sales, debit and credit notes, etc. Let us start with cash memo. It is prepared by the seller for goods sold against cash. Cash memo acts as an evidence for both the seller and the purchaser of goods. For the purchaser, for goods purchased against cash, and for the seller, for sales made for cash. It contains details of goods sold, quantity, rate, total amount received, date of transaction, etc. Here is a specimen of a cash memo. The next one is invoice or bill. It is prepared by the seller for the goods sold against credit. It contains details such as to whom goods are sold, quantity of goods sold, and the total sale amount. One prepares an invoice but receive a bill. These two terms are interchangeable and mean the same thing. Here is a specimen for an invoice. The next one is receipt. Mind it, it is receipt, not receipt. When cash or check is received from a customer, a receipt for the amount received is issued. The receipt is prepared in duplicate. The original copy is given to the party making the payment and the duplicate is kept for record. It has details of date, amount, name of the party, and the nature of the payment. Here is a specimen of a receipt. The next one is pay in slip. It is used for depositing cash or check into bank. It is a form which is available from bank having a counterfoil which is returned to the depositor with cashier's signature as receipt. The counterfoil gives details regarding the date and the amount in cash or check whatever is deposited. Here is a specimen of a pay in slip. The next one is check. As per Negotiable Instrument Act, a check is a bill of exchange drawn on a specified banker and not expressed to be payable otherwise than on demand, and it includes the electronic image of a truncated check and a check in electronic form. Here is a specimen of a check. Now comes the debit note. A debit note is made out as an evidence that a debit was being made to the account of the party named in the debit note. It details the reason for the debit. The effect of a debit note is that the indebtedness to the supplier is reduced, or if the account is already settled, goods can be purchased further without payment. Here is a specimen of a debit note. The next one is credit note. A credit note is made out as an evidencing that credit has been granted to a debtor. The effect of a credit note is that the amount of the customer's indebtedness is reduced, or if it is already settled, to enable the customer to purchase goods to the value of credit without further payment. Here is a specimen of a credit note. Now we will move to vouchers. It is a document evidencing a business transaction. A voucher detailing the accounts that are debited and credited is prepared on the basis of source documents such as cash memo, invoice or bill, receipt, pay in slip, check, debit and credit notes, etc. Voucher is documentary evidence in support of a business transaction. Now, the types of vouchers are basically these are classified into two categories. The first one is supporting vouchers. These are also known as source vouchers or source documents. These are the documents which comes into existence when a transaction is entered into. Second one are accounting vouchers. These are secondary vouchers. These vouchers are written document prepared on the basis of supporting vouchers for accounting and recording purposes, prepared by an accountant and countersigned by an authorized person. These accounting vouchers are prepared for cash as well as non-cash transactions. Once again, we will discuss about the vouchers. In the broad category, vouchers are classified into supporting vouchers and accounting vouchers. All the documents which we have read, like cash memo, invoice, debit note, credit note, check, pay slip, all these are supporting vouchers. It means we have learned about the supporting vouchers. Supporting vouchers may be prepared by third parties, or supporting vouchers may be prepared by the organization and validated by an independent. Now we will move to accounting vouchers. Accounting vouchers are further classified into cash vouchers and non-cash vouchers. Where the cash is involved, those are cash vouchers, and where the cash is not involved, that is non-cash vouchers. In cash vouchers, there are two types of vouchers: debit vouchers and credit vouchers. Now we will discuss about accounting vouchers. As we have studied earlier, that accounting vouchers are the secondary vouchers prepared on the basis of supporting vouchers by an accountant and countersigned by an authorized person of the organization for the purpose of recording in the books of accounts. These accounting vouchers may be prepared for cash as well as non-cash transactions. Thus, accounting vouchers may be classified into two categories. One is cash vouchers, another is non-cash vouchers, or we can also say transfer vouchers. Cash vouchers are the documentary evidences of the cash receipts and cash payments. Cash vouchers are of two types, that is debit vouchers and credit vouchers. Now we will discuss debit vouchers. Debit vouchers are the documentary evidences of cash payments. The purpose of debit vouchers are these vouchers are prepared to record transactions involving cash payments. For example, for the cash payment of expenses, say salaries, rent, etc. For cash purchase of goods, for cash purchase of fixed assets, for cash purchase of investments, for cash payment to creditors, for granting loans and advances to employees or other persons, or for deposit of cash into bank. Now I'll discuss the contents of a debit vouchers. Usually in a debit voucher, following information is to be provided. That is name and address of the organization, date of preparing the voucher, accounting voucher number, title of the account debited, net amount of transaction, narration, that is a brief description of the transaction, signature of the person preparing it, signature of the authorized signatory, supporting voucher number, or a document in lieu of supporting voucher. If the supporting voucher is not available, then the receipt portion of the debit voucher is filled and is used as a supporting voucher. One important point to remember: if the amount involved is rupees 500 or more, a revenue stamp of rupee 1 is affixed and the signatures of the recipient are obtained crossing the revenue stamp. Below is the format. This format is given of a debit voucher. Now comes the credit vouchers. Credit vouchers are documentary evidences of cash receipts. Credit vouchers are prepared to record the transactions involving cash receipts. Few examples of credit vouchers are cash receipt of income, that is, say, interest received from the bank, for cash sale of goods, for cash sales of fixed assets, for cash sale of investments, for cash received from debtors, for receipt of repayment of loans and advances already granted, or for withdrawal of cash from the bank. In a credit voucher, few information is required. The first one is name and address of the organization, date of preparing the voucher, accounting number, then title of the account credited, net amount of the transaction, narration, that is a brief description of the transaction, signature of the person preparing it, signature of authorized signatory, then supporting voucher number. This is the specimen of the credit voucher. Non-cash vouchers or the transfer vouchers. These are the documentary evidences of non-cash transactions, means where the cash payment or cash receipt is not involved. Non-cash vouchers are prepared to record these non-cash transactions. For example, credit sale of goods, credit sale of fixed assets, credit sale of investments, return of goods once sold, return of goods purchased, for writing of depreciation, for writing of bad debts, etc. In non-cash voucher, following contents or the information is required. That is name and address of the organization, date of preparing the voucher, accounting voucher number, title of account to be credited, title of account to be debited, net amount of transaction, narration, that is brief description of the transaction, signature of the person preparing it, signature of the authorized signatory, or supporting voucher number. Here is a format of a non-cash voucher. Students, in this session, we have studied about some source documents used as a proof while accounting for a business. We have learned about supporting vouchers like cash memo, invoice or a bill, pay-in slip, checks, debit note, credit note, and accounting vouchers like debit vouchers, credit vouchers, cash vouchers, non-cash vouchers, etc. I hope these terms and their specimens will help you to understand the concept of this topic more easily. Now it's homework time. Revise these terms and remember the specimens. Try to learn it by heart because these topics are very much important while preparation of financial statements of a business. In the next session, we will continue our next topic. Till then, dear students, to stop the COVID 19, stay home. If you don't think about yourself, think about your loved ones. So stay home, please, but study regularly.